Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to another Open Pagan Church. Getting all my little buttons flipped and knobs twisted here. There we are. Welcome back, Open Pagan Church, live broadcast. And if you're going to be watching on YouTube, be sure and click like or dislike and subscribe. Click the bell so you get dinged when we have a broadcast. So, we've been on this um, momentum, if you will, of different things that can screw with us. Yes, good afternoon in Scotland, 6 hours ahead of us there. We've been on this rolling momentum of things that either wind us up, dealing with internal anxieties or problems with day-to-day life, right? And these are things that we have to deal with on a daily basis. So, one of the topics I wanted to cover last broadcast, we did the winding oneself up. Well, I wanted to save the internal demons. And when you start talking about discussing demons, the first thing people want to do is they want to go straight forward to the things that go bump in the night, the things that the demons that they think may be attacking them on a daily basis. And truth be known, folks, um, the demons of the world typically have better things to do than to jack with the likes of us. Most of the things we deal with demons come from internally. Our own anxieties, fears, anger, depression, things that we feel maybe we're failing on. And one of the things that, yeah, Debbie says external demons are easier to deal with than the internal ones. You're absolutely correct. The internal demons come from everything from doubt to fear, and well, doubt comes from fear. They come from external abuses, such as if you have a job where your boss is always micromanaging and pounding on your head with a little bitty hammer going, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you doing enough? Why aren't you answering that phone faster? Why are you spending so much time on the phone? Why does it take you too long to do your job? And then some people deal with environmental demons. Okay? The environmental demons are those that people that you live with may be pounding you on the head. You may be dealing with environmental abuse, right? Of one kind or another. Either, maybe you have children that are unruly. Maybe the younger generation or the older generation may have parental figures that are unrealistic and you just can't make them happy. Siblings, um, more and more people today, and I find it very interesting. I was watching a newsreel the other day on TV, and they were talking about in America, okay, in America, on an average of 35% of all Americans are moving in with multi-generational homes. I can tell you that myself, my wife, and daughter have since moved in with my parents, helped take care of them. We're sharing the bills. We have a portion of the house, they have a portion of the house, and we all tend to run amok and do our own things. It is challenging at times, but handled correctly, it does work, right? And but more and more families, especially with the cost of living, cost of housing, and the sheer idiocy of trying to get into any kind of home or resident nowadays, is just almost ludicrous completely. So you end up with multi generational homes. Older siblings may move in with younger siblings and vice versa. Um, People like myself who've more or less been on my own since I was 17, 18 years old, we find ourselves living back in with parental figures, our parents, helping them out. They were there when I was a kid, so I'm going to be here now. Well, we have to deal with these internal demons. And the internal demons make us doubt everything we do, every turn, every step of the way. We have to deal with our self doubt, which is an internal demon. Some of the things we may talk about in this broadcast may be a bit of a repeat from last week's broadcast, but it's coming at it from a different standpoint. And yes, I'm having to still manually scroll Facebook. So if you post something, good morning, Clint. if you post something and I miss it, give it a second. I am scrolling and I'll get there eventually. I'm slow. Or so does anybody want to post maybe a short snippet of what your internal demon, just pick an internal demon. Now, we're not looking for anyone that may think they're being cast upon by an outside source. We're not looking for someone who may think that a family member some time ago may be casting chaos upon them or something. What we're looking at is these internal demons that may start out just as a tiny toothpick, just a small doubt. And before you know it, this internal demon has already formed a part of reality, if you will. Clint says I have a job starting next week. Woohoo! Rock on. I'll vape to that. And I'll drink to that. Coffee, that is. Black Gold. Global Tea. Sound like the Hillbillies now. And if you don't know who the Hillbillies were, well, just showing my age, Google who the Hillbillies were of the 1960s. Yeah. So, where are we going from here? Self-hatred, right? Self-worth. That's a big internal demon. Been fighting demons of all sorts, hiding anxiety, losing job. Yeah, when you get up there in age, especially mine and Clint's age and a few others, when you lose that job, the internal guilt and the internal demons begin to snowball faster than you can catch them most of the time. Well, um, I like that. Sorry. Not speaking your heart. And I can touch on that one for just a second. In not speaking your heart, how much of the time do we not say something for the fear of angering someone else or causing someone else issues, so we just suck it up and deal with it? That's dangerous to yourself, because by just sucking it up and dealing with it, and I do the same thing, but I have found, if nothing else through the years, you have to figure out a way to sit down and communicate with the persons or people. You have to sit down and figure out a way to vent that, to talk about it, to get it off of your chest, to maybe get an idea of how the overall society can deal with it better. And, okay, Clint. And by, and here's one of the interesting things with internal demons. We were talking about stuffing it, not dealing with it, just shoving it in a hole somewhere. It's kind of like this little bag oh, it's a green bag. Look there. Oh, that's kind of cool. It really is a green bag. That's kind of anyway. Like I was going to say, we're going to pretend that this green bag is the thing where we are stuffing our problems, right? So we keep stuffing them deeper and deeper and deeper. Well, eventually the bag fills up. It just won't hold anymore. It eventually flows over and will burst. Maybe I need to pick a different color bag next time. Argues with my green screen. Yeah. But if you keep stuffing it, you keep putting it deeper and deeper and deeper, eventually, and I can guarantee this, eventually it will burst. It's going to flow out. It's going to come out in the way of road rage at the most inopportune times. It's going to come out in the way of an explosion of temper against someone who probably had absolutely nothing to do with the anxieties to begin with. But stuffed demons, stuffed anxieties, stuffed anger, it will come out. Somehow, some way, somewhere, it'll come out. And I get it. So sometimes I just can't be bothered these days. I'm right there with you. There's a boatload of things that goes on as of late in my job that I just can't be bothered to deal with. So I have found other ways to deal with it. There are things that go on, and at home. I mean, we're human beings. Not everything goes swimmingly, right? There's some things we just kind of piss off and move on, and we just don't let them get to us. So here's one of the interesting questions, right? We kind of know where we're going now with internal demons. These are these things that we bring on ourselves. I have counseled people through the years as a pagan minister and as a shaman. I've counseled people through the years that their internal demons have manifested into visual, physical architects, actual living, breathing demons that have no true fact or base for existence. But yet, when they close their eyes, or they're driving down the road, or they're trying to sleep or rest or relax, these things will pop up out of nowhere. They may they may manifest themselves as a bill that can't be paid, a car repair that can't be made, or something that you really wanted to do that suddenly cannot be done because life gets in the way, right? So what this does is these internal demons begin to grow and they begin to take shape, they take form, and they begin to take over our lives. I mean, I know early on, back in the early 2000s, hell, I say that like that was all that long ago. It really kind of seems like it was yesterday. But in the early 2000s, when we formed the House of Pegasus, which is what it was known then, we had people coming out of the woodwork. I'm not kidding with you. We had people that were all over the world that were joining the House of Pagans. Well, it became the House of Pagans about 6 months after we formed the House of Pegasus. And, well, there's a whole story behind that I won't bore you with this morning. But there's a couple of people online this morning that remember those days, that remember the beginning of the House of Pagans, right? And all of the chaos and the crap that went on during that period of time. The people that were coming in because they wanted a power play, or They thought that I stroke we had formed the pagan church where all were welcome. They thought we had formed it to become a power play to other covens, groups, and groves. And in all reality, that's not why we did it at all. But I personally kind of became hung up with my own internal demons because I was trying to take responsibility for the things that everyone in the group were doing. After all, it was considered my group, and I was trying to take responsibility for everyone else's actions. And guess what? I learned over time that I cannot be responsible for other people's actions. Now, granted, if my actions cause their actions, I need to take responsibility. But we cannot always be responsible for the crap other people pull. Oop, I'm falling behind on the chat here. So, internal demons, internalizing demons and fear, they grow. They grow, they manifest, they can become a living, dangerous being within ourselves, right? And eventually, and believe it or not, I've actually read cases where by building too many internal demons, it actually becomes another personality, if you will. There are times where people have split personalities and end up with multiple personalities, and the other personality ends up being found out later to actually be this internalized demon that somebody may have come up with as a child, young teen, or young adult. Yes, and those of you that are in our group chat, and those of you that may watch later, um, read. We call him Bat. He's always been my little bat. But read Daniel's post in the group. I mean, it's one of those things that builds those internal demons to the point where you just really don't see any way out. It is wound up, it is snowballed, it has become such a situation that you just really have no way out. And Sean jumps up and says, "Squirrel." Yep, I hear you. So, what do we do? Well, I can tell you back in the earlier days of the HOP, we had Sunday gatherings where every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. everybody came together. We sit, we talked, we shared conversation of anxieties, we shared conversation and shared knowledge and wisdom within the craft. We had topics much like what we do here on Open Pagan Church broadcast every Sunday. And granted, this is not the same as being able to sit in a circle full of people, being able to share these things outright in real time, being able to help our peers and help each other get through these things. That's kind of the reason uh, back in the day I started the broadcast, because I wanted to get back into helping the pagan community grow, learn the pagan basics, and learn to deal with things within their own pagan ideologies. Because, as most of you know, and some of the newcomers may not know, pagans deal with things a little differently than most of your Judeo Christianic philosophies do. We deal with things a little differently than most others do. Now, then, of course, when you compile onto that the thousands of different paths and crafts that are stacked on top of paganism, as in denominations of paganism, right? Wicca, witchcraft, shamanism, Fae, Druid, Asatru, um, oh my God, Nordic Nordic traditions. Oh hell, I could go on and on. There's thousands of them, and then you have variables off of those. You have so many different variables of Wicca, it's not even funny. So many different variables of shamanism that it's not even funny. So just you know, just like um, Sean. Well, you know where I'm at, dude. I'm not hard to find. Just like when we are dealing with, just like when we're dealing with life issues, we don't want to internalize those life issues so that they become a internal demon. Because, like I said before, if you take a small ball of ice, okay, just a real tiny ball of ice, and you get to the top of a mountain and you toss that little top ball of ice down the side of a mountain, it will begin to snowball and grow as it rolls down the side of the mountain. And eventually it becomes so big that absolutely nothing can stop it. So, what can you do to stop it? What can you do to stop the snowballs? And Sean, we are going to have to um, set some time and money aside to get down and come visit you guys and do a circle one weekend on your property. I have seen pictures of Sean's property. It's beautiful. It really looks nice. They have worked their butt off on that property. It looks good. So we are definitely going to have to get down there and get everybody get everybody together. We've I think we've been able to make one trip down to Clint's house. We made one trip down to Cindy's house, but the hell of it is, um, it's 6.5 to 7 hours for us to drive all the way down. And I know it's the same if you guys come up here. We have no place. We have no place to put you. Literally, we would have to hang you from the ceiling. We have no place to put anybody. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to get down there and have a good old fashioned gathering at Sean's place and try to get everybody together. Anyway, um, we digress. Not that we ever digress, mind you. But if anybody in the north central Texas area, north of Dallas, about 45 miles ish, if anybody in this area has property with trees that we could actually do a small gathering, to get people together every once in a while and sit and talk. Granted, we can't travel every weekend, and what we could do is try to figure out a way to do a gathering once a month maybe and do a live broadcast of that on here on Facebook Live once a month somewhere up here in north central Texas. Um, I hesitate to say north central Texas because we are actually closer to the Oklahoma Arkansas border than we are anything else. So I think we're like an hour and a half off of the border. So, welcome to those of you that are just joining. We are halfway into the broadcast this morning. We're talking about internal demons, internalizing demons, and if you want to know the build up to where we're at now, you'll need to rewind and start over from the beginning after we uh, put up the broadcast. But our conversation is on internal demons, where they come from, what can happen, and yes, absolutely. So, what do we do once once the demons internally brought on by ourselves, right? What do we do? How do we get them under control? How do we get rid of the damn things? Or do we ever truly get rid of them? Hmm. Perplexing question, isn't it? How do we get around that problem of internal demons? What are, and Sean has kicked it off. What are some of the things you do on a daily, weekly, hell, hourly, by minute basis? What are some of the things you do to deal with your internal demons? Let's see some of the things that you guys do. Release the demons, reach out. Control is a state of mind. Yep. One person says, nope, never get rid of them. Step back, breathe, ask for help from counsel, and they took care of it. Yep. Another one says, no, you lessen them and watch for the triggers. Well, in my observation, in my opinion, and you know what they say about opinions, but it's been my experience that you actually can get rid of internal demons. You really can. You can just, over time, self control, meditation, you can get rid of internal demons. Now, you're never going to get rid of the causes of internal demons, right? If you have to work for a living, you're always going to be issues in your job of one kind or another. There's always going to be relationship issues, whether you're best friends with someone, you're with your soulmate, or you're with a sibling or a parental figure, or living with someone else because you can't afford to live alone, or if you're living with your kids. Um, if you're just living on this mother planet Earth, you're going to have internal demons on a daily basis of some kind or another, buying groceries, paying bills, getting your butt out of bed in the morning just to get moving. You're going to have internal demons and issues that you have to deal with. And the biggest thing, term, one of my pet peeves, and I use it. Even still today, I use it. We use it in this household, but it is still a term that is one of my big pet peeves that I hate, truly hate this term. You ready? Fake it till you make it. I say again, the term is fake it till you make it. That term torques and chaps my patootie more than any other term. And you want to hear something funny? I use it on a daily basis. I use it on a daily basis. The job that I presently have, I have no choice but to fake it on a daily basis when I go in and sit down and log on and go to work. I have no choice but to fake a smile, to fake a happy voice on a phone call, or to fake a smile when management walks by. I have no choice but to fake it. And let me tell you, folks, Sean says always make it, never fake it. Well, I get it. But in a position where if you don't fake it, you will lose your job. You will lose your job. And there are some people in living conditions that are so abusive and bad that until they can get out of that living condition, they have no choice but to fake it. Now you notice I dropped the bottom part. The fake it till you make it. I dropped the till you make it. Now, I don't condone faking. I don't. I don't condone it. But I understand that if I use a childhood story that I heard many, many times growing up, and I talked about it last week on our last broadcast, and I'll bring it up again, right? And that's the little engine that could. Now, those of you may have, some of you watching our pre-recorded broadcast later, and even maybe this morning, may have never heard of the little engine that could. If you haven't, Google it. It's a cute little story. But essentially, what the little engine does is he takes the fake it till you make it term and turns it into I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Or one more day, one more day, one more day, 5 more days, 4 more days, 3 more days, 2 more days, one more day. Made it. And so what I have started doing, and what some of you might be able to do, is move into the ideology of I think I can, I know I can. I think I can, I know I can, I think I will, I will. And it becomes and here's the way you get rid of the demons, right? And you're going to think I have probably tripped off of my trolley, right? Which I may have, is I found that if I change fake it till you make it to I think I can, I think I will. I know I can, I know I will. Because I know that the pains that I live with my body on a daily basis does not pile and compare to some of the pains some of the rest of you live with on a daily basis. There are mornings I have trouble getting out of bed, and I know that there are days that some of you can't get out of bed, but you still manage to do it anyway. So to one of the first steps to assisting with the getting rid of the demons is to change the fake it till you make it phrase to I know I can. I know I will. I know I can. And how about this one? Don't use I have to. Don't use the term I have to. Because if you use the term I have to, then all that does is build up more anxieties, more anger, more self-doubt. It increases the power of the internal demons, and it starts that snowball again of the internal demons. Does that make any sense? But by increasing choices of not I have to I can, I will, I may be a little slower, I may have to sit down more often because my back and neck are gone. Like when we moved here December of last year, I broke down. I don't mind telling you, it was 13 degrees outside. It was blowing a gale. Um, we still had a half a truck to go and a half a house to move, and I lost it. So we had to hire a couple of guys to finish it off and to help us off with it. But still, I started changing my thought processes from I have to do this. This has to get done. To, okay, yeah, there are things that have to be done in this house on a daily basis to keep it livable. There are things that have to be done in our space to make it livable. There are things that have to be done on a daily basis to be able to function and do the things we need to do as human beings. But what I did was I found that those internal demons have a bit of a less effect if I change from fake it till you make it. Okay, so I try to drop that. I try to drop it has to be done now. It has to be done now. Well, I try to drop that And I move into, I think I can do this, this, and this. And I think this that has to be done, I may can block it down into smaller squares. And I can do smaller bits at a time and sit down for a minute as long as I don't. And see, here's the key to this. You can't, when you sit down for a break, you have to stay focused. You can't sit down for a break and that break end up being all freaking day. You can't sit down for a break and that break end up being several hours. When you're on a quest and you're on a task and you've got the I think I can process going, okay? And you got that demon in the back of your head going, you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. And you keep saying, I can do this. Boom. I did that. Done. Move on. I move on to the next squatch. I get that done. I sit down for a minute. I breathe. I get something to drink. Maybe a bit of vape. Get my stuff lined back out. Get me lined back out. Get up and push forward back up that hill. So each step I make up that hill to the goal at the top of the hill helps get rid of the demons, because eventually those demons have no power. Now, it doesn't happen just overnight. No. And some of us get a little pissy because we're impatient and we want it to happen yesterday. No. When you live each day in fear, whatever fear, losing your job, losing your home, losing whatever, you live every day in fear of one kind or another. You live every day in pain of one kind or another. And you live every day in anxieties of one kind or another. You have to be able to bring yourself around from fake it till you make it, right? You have to get away from that. And it has to be done, so I have to force myself to do it. No, you have to get away from that, because those are two negative connotations right off the top. You're not going to be able to get around that. To, I think I can, to, I will, to, I did it. Hot damn, I did it. It worked. Look at me. I did it. Yeah, I have to do things in 5-minute increments. Yeah, all of the above. Right? And I mean, anymore, I have to get up and do things in 5, 10, 15-minute increments, depending on what I'm doing. There are some days better than others. There are some days I can go 30, 45 minutes, an hour at a time, and then I have to sit down for 15 or 20 minutes to recoup. Now, am I recouped? No. Am I completely recovered? No. Am I recovered enough that I can kick back in and go, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, and before I know it, damned if I didn't do it. Roof repairs on our home have to be done constantly, living in the environment in which we live, with the hailstorms and the windstorms and the shit that we get in the area we're living now. We have another splotch of roof after this last bout of non-stop rain we've had in North Texas over the last month and a half. We have another splotch of roof that has to be repaired. So once we get a couple of days of sun where I can get out without burying up to my eyeballs in mud, I'll get out there, we'll get out there and climb up on the roof, and we'll do what needs to be done. I may have to rest for 5 minutes after I get up on the roof, because there's a lot of me to get up a ladder nowadays to get on a roof. And see, therein lies the point I was trying to make. It says, I push through it all no matter what. I am a bulldog when it has to be done. No, I stick my tongue out at you. No. By building the mentality of it has to be done, you're setting yourself up to fail before you ever get started. If you set yourself up with goals, okay, and it moves from I think I can to I will to I did, and you become proud of yourself for the little splotches of things that you do. And I apologize for anyone who may be PMing or IMing me in the background. Um, I will reply to you later. So, um, so we this is the way we get rid of the demons. And the whole point to the whole conversation is getting rid of internal demons, catching smaller splotches of information, catching smaller splotches of things that need to be done and doing them. Now, granted, there are things that have to be done. Bills have to be paid. Groceries have to be bought. Repairs have to be made. But if you change the thought process to now, it has to be done now, to I will get it done as I can. And then you catch splotches. And like I say, some days will be better than others. Some days you can push a few minutes further past than you could. But don't feel so guilty about sitting down and taking a break that you end up pushing your body to the point where you're down for weeks. See, here's the thing. If you do this, it has to be done, it has to be done, it has to be done. Gotta push, 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 and push, and push. Well, okay, you may have made the day, but you're down for 5. What good are you? If you made the day and you pushed through it and you got the one thing done, what about the things that needed to be done the other 5 days? Because you pushed yourself through and there's nothing left to push. So, and I'm kind of waiting on Facebook to catch up because their upload bandwidth is a little slow, as some of you might can tell. So what have we come up with? Well, we have to push through it because of our health. To a degree, you are right. However, the harder you push, the longer you push, the less you're going to have to push with. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not telling you to give up. I'm not telling you to stop. I am telling you to change your reaction and thought processes to the things that are happening to you. If you go from building stress over it has to be done, it has to be done. If you go from building stress over that to accepting the thing of I can do this right now. Okay, I did that. Take a breather, take a breath, lean up against a wall for a second, regain your composure, and move a little further. Stop, lean up against the wall for a second, breathe for a second, move a little further. And for those of you out there that don't have health issues or chronic back problems, neck pain, or other health issues, cancer or whatever, fibromyalgia, whatever, you may not understand what I'm talking about here. But everybody has some form of issue somewhere that builds up internal demons. And we're on the downside of our broadcast this morning. So let's think about this. To get rid of the internal demons is to change the way we approach life, stress, anxieties, jobs, family, things that need to be done. Change the way we approach our thought processes towards these issues. So, as I've always said in the past, right? As I've always said in the past, if we change our reactions to others' actions, we will over time change their actions because they're not getting the same response that they would think they should. And when you take a look at these internal demons that grow into massive destructive, self-destructive anxieties, you can slow down a little bit and change the way you see yourself. Instead of allowing these internal demons to shove you deeper and deeper and deeper in a hole where you have to scratch and claw and fight your way up out of that hole, sit down for a second. Take a look at the hole that you put yourself in and think about possible ways that you might be able to, one step at a time, get yourself up out of that hole. So if you change your reactions to others' actions, up to and including yourself, if you change your reactions to your own actions and thought processes, you will, over time, I promise, change the outcome. Change the way that you see things. And folks, I say it doesn't happen overnight. It truly doesn't. And it's not something that you can just do off the fly of the hat. It is things that requires time. But you have to keep on keeping on. Now, that being said, right, I want to thank you all for watching. I do want to remind you that Live with the Shaman is up next at 11 a.m. Central Time over on the Live with the Shaman page. We hope to see you there, and we hope to see you right here next week on Open Pagan Church. I look forward to your future comments, your likes, or your dislikes, your thoughts, your ideas. Our topics have been set for the rest of 2018. Check them out on both Open Pagan Church and Live with a Shaman. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time right here. Have a great week.